Have you ever driven past an open field or through a stretch of pine trees and just felt something release? Like your shoulders dropped and your brain finally exhaled? Yeah, there's actually a reason for that. Welcome back to the Land Buyer's Guide. I'm Scott Thomas with landparker.com, and today we're talking about something a little different. Not zoning laws, not deed types. Today we're talking about stress and why rural land might be one of the best things you can do for your mental health. Now, I know that sounds a little out there for a land show, but stick with me because this is something I hear from buyers all the time, and the research actually backs it up. So let's start with the science, because it's pretty interesting. There's a concept called attention restoration theory. Basically, what it says is that natural environments give your brain a chance to recover. City life, suburban life, it's constantly competing for your attention. Traffic, notifications, ads, noise. Your brain is always working, always processing, and that wears you down. But open land, rolling fields, tree lines, a creek in the distance, that stuff doesn't demand anything from you. Your mind can just wander. And when it wanders, it recovers. Studies have shown that people who spend regular time in nature have lower anxiety, better sleep, improved focus, and just a stronger overall sense of feeling grounded. Lower cortisol levels, lower blood pressure, real measurable stuff. And here's what a lot of people don't realize. Owning land takes that a step further. It's not the same as a trip to a state park. It's not a weekend in a rental cabin. When you own a piece of ground, it belongs to you. You set the pace, you decide what happens there, and that sense of ownership creates something that a hotel or Airbnb just can't give you. Landowners talk about this all the time. Their property becomes a place to reset, and over time, your brain actually starts to associate that land with rest. The moment you pull off the highway and onto that dirt road, something shifts. That's not an accident. That's your nervous system recognizing where it is. Now let's talk about some of the practical reasons rural land actually reduces stress, because I think this part is really underrated. First, and this one surprises people, a lot of rural properties have limited or no cell service. And yeah, that might sound like a deal breaker at first, but almost everyone I've talked to says it ends up being one of their favorite things about it. No notifications, no emails buzzing at you, no doom scrolling at midnight. Your nervous system gets a genuine break. You're just there, present. And most of us haven't felt that way in a long time. Then there's the physical work. And this is huge. There's something deeply satisfying about working with your hands. Clearing some brush, stacking firewood, digging a garden bed. It sounds simple, but it does something for you mentally that a gym treadmill just doesn't. You're doing real work with a visible outcome. That releases endorphins, yeah, but it also gives you a sense of accomplishment that desk jobs rarely will provide. Your brain needs that. The other thing rural land does is put you back in sync with natural rhythms: sunrise, sunset, seasons, weather. When your day is shaped by light and temperature instead of calendar invites and deadlines, something recalibrates inside you. People sleep better, they eat better, they feel more connected to their own bodies. It sounds almost old-fashioned to say it, but humans aren't really designed to live at the pace most of us are living at. Land slows that down, and honestly, the space itself matters. Just having room to breathe. No neighbors right on top of you, no traffic, no noise from other people's lives bleeding into yours. Wide open space has a psychological effect that's hard to explain but easy to feel the first time you're standing in the middle of a few quiet acres. Things settle, your thoughts settle. It's hard to get that anywhere else. Okay, so if you're thinking about buying land with this in mind, with your mental wellness as part of the goal, let me share a few things worth thinking about. Accessibility matters a lot. Land that's too remote can actually become a source of stress, not relief. If it takes you 6 hours to get there, you're probably not going when you need it most. Look for something within a reasonable drive, close enough that you'll actually use it. Water is a big one too. A creek, a pond, a spring. It adds practical value, but also emotional value. There's something deeply calming about moving water. If you can find a property that has it, it's worth prioritizing. Natural shade and mature trees are underrated. They make the land immediately usable and comfortable without requiring any work or investment on your part. Before you buy, make sure to check zoning and any deed restrictions. Nothing kills the peaceful retreat vibe faster than finding out you can't park your RV or put up a small structure. Do that homework early. And here's the one I tell everyone: start simple. You don't need a cabin, a well, solar panels, and a garden on day one. A cleared spot, a fire pit, a place to sleep. That's enough to start getting the benefits right away. The rest can come over time. Now, for folks who are drawn to off-grid living, the stress relief goes even deeper. When you're generating your own power, growing your own food, managing your own water, you're removing your dependence on systems that are often unreliable and honestly kind of anxiety-inducing. You're in control, and that feeling of self-sufficiency is a really powerful antidote to the helplessness that underlies a lot of modern stress. The thing is, off-grid living isn't about roughing it or surviving in the wilderness. It's about intentional design. It's about building a life where you're not at the mercy of the grid or the algorithm or whatever's happening in the news. That kind of intentionality is calming in itself. If you're heading in that direction, start with a reliable water source first, then a solid solar setup, and build incrementally. Doing everything at once leads to burnout, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. Connect with other people doing it. There are great communities online. Shared knowledge makes the whole process a lot less stressful. And then there's homesteading. If you're building a working homestead, there's another layer to this, and that's purpose. Growing vegetables, raising animals, building things with your hands, preserving food. It ties you to something bigger than your inbox. Your days have rhythm, your effort has a visible result. A lot of homesteaders say the lifestyle didn't just reduce their stress, it completely changed their relationship with anxiety. When you're focused on real, tangible things that sustain your life, abstract worries tend to lose their grip. That's not nothing. That's actually a big deal. Just be realistic with yourself in the early years. Build systems slowly. And treat rest as part of the plan, not something you earn after everything is done. That mindset shift alone will serve you well. So here's the takeaway from all of this. Rural land isn't a magic fix, but it is one of the most accessible, sustainable ways to create distance between yourself and the pressure of modern life. Whether you want a weekend retreat, an off-grid setup, or a working homestead, the land itself becomes part of your well-being. The quiet is real, the reset is real, and it's available to more people than most realize. If any of this resonates with you and you're curious about what's actually out there, head over to landparker.com. We specialize in discounted rural vacant land with affordable owner financing, sometimes as low as $100 down and $100 a month. We've helped a lot of people get their start, and we'd love to help you find something that fits. Browse the available properties, ask questions, see what's out there. You might be closer to having your own piece of ground than you think. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next one.